Hi, my name is Kenny K. Royal.
And it's me, Judy Garland, your best Judy cutie.
And you are listening to PopTawk, the podcast that we have done on again and off again quite a few times, but now it'll be much easier to do and to put together because Kimo and I are living together. So yay!
Yeah, somebody, traveled like 1,400 miles.
Is that how many miles it is?
Yes, it is.
Jesus.
Making a life change, doing things,
Anyway.
Oh, honey.
Honey. But we're going to get into a bit of not a hot topic, but a deeper discussion this episode of the podcast because of the government shutdown. It's been a big topic on a lot of people's lips because, motherfuckers ain't getting paid. So, tends to be the topic of discussion.
Which will start any mass shooting, I think. You don't pay me, I'll shoot up the Pentagon.
But, so, with the government shutdown, it just ended, what was it? Just a week ago?
Yeah, but it lasted like 35 days, which of course is what the longest.
The longest. Because the one before that, I believe, was 17 days.
And that was Obama.
Mm-hmm. Which he did that for Medicare.
Which was something
healthcare
that made a lot more sense than a wall that's never going to happen. You can shut it down as much as you want to. I just don't see it. If the wall gets built, I personally will be shocked that
it's gonna be from his own motherfucking money.
This bitch doesn't get bombed.
Just like when those people tried to do the what was it? Oh my god, the GoFundMe for the wall, and
that shit got canceled.
It got canceled, and GoFundMe sent all their money back. Like, listen, we're not doing this.
Child.
The thing is, I think he's pushing so hard for this wall because it's the one campaign promise that he had that he has not been able to fulfill. I don't think he really, because he focused on that so hard.
That was what his campaign was focused on. He was capitalizing off of America's racism.
Yeah.
And America's just human, taught instinct to want to oppress a certain group of people.
The whole otherism thing.
The whole biggest thing. And I wanted this because I've sent you a meme a while ago where it was this person who was talking about, you know how you can go to the zoo and enjoy your days.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Keep people, which I thought it was just so dehumanizing
really
to refer Mexicans to animals in the zoo. But not only that, we want to talk about walls and protecting people. Who's protecting us from the criminals and the killers that are in the United States? When you're looking at mass murderers, rapists, people, what skin color are they?
They ain't black.
They ain't black. They ain't Mexican. They ain't they ain't Asian. When you're looking at the long list of the people in history in America, when you're looking at Buffalo Bill, when you're looking at the Chainsaw Massacres, when you're looking at, who else?
You have Jeffrey Dahmer. You have Ted
Bundy. All of these huge mass killers. And we want to talk about keeping our people safe. You're from Mexicans who are only trying to come here and work. That's all they're trying to do is have a better life. And you're trying to paint them as criminals. I think that's absurd and awful.
The thing is, though, they're not going to talk about that. White people ain't never too much here to talk about how or at least the high majority of mass killings are all done by some angry white man or angry white woman. Really angry white.
They don't even have to be angry. It's just fulfilling to them. A lot of them, for instance, Ted Bundy wasn't angry. He was a necrophiliac. His ass was horny, is what he was. So,
bitch, you sexy, but I think it'd be sexier if you did.
Right. Nothing like a cold corpse to really get the blood pumping.
But it's sad to me, especially because whenever you try to bring up topics like that with somebody that's not, or somebody that's trying to argue for the wall and how Mexicans are raping and pillaging and all this other stuff, whenever you bring up the fact that, okay, well, what about white people doing this, this, and that? They don't want to talk about that. Let's not dive too deep into that.
Well, the thing is that killed me because there was like a comment where there was like, oh, we're not saying that you can't come here. We're just telling you to knock on the front door and ask politely. Did the Pilgrims ask politely
They surely did.
when they crash landed on Plymouth Rock? My thing is, no, they came here and pillaged and raped and killed the Native Americans. But of course, that was okay.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
But they were migrating for the same reasons that Mexico is migrating, because they didn't like the situations that they were living in, so they were finding new land, a new promised land to build a nation on. And that, to me, is no different than any of these people that are searching for the American dream. That's why it's called the American dream, because that's what America was built on.
Even though the American dream is the American nightmare to the Native Americans. But
Yeah, it is.
the American dream is crawling up somewhere and fucking up everybody else's shit.
Yeah.
And not apologizing for
Which
it.
is not what the Mexicans are doing, or
They're
the
not.
Hispanics.
The thing is, the Mexicans are coming here, and people love to say this whole, they're stealing American jobs, but every job that they have, because they're undocumented half the time, are things that we're not going to want to do. Because I know that I for damn sure ain't working in nobody's field. I'm not about to go picking nobody's cotton, nobody's corn, nobody's nothing. And so, but the reason they're coming over here and they're getting these jobs is because those farmers are paying them pretty much something that is an unlivable wage to most Americans.
Yes.
Like, we cannot live off of the pennies that they get. But the thing is, for them, that's a lot more than anything that they could get back home. So they're willing to trek that whole mile of crossing the border, getting here, working those jobs for however long, coming back, bringing some money home to their families. Like, they're doing well. And people love to say they're stealing those jobs, but it's like, okay, well, when did you apply for it?
But at the same time, no, they're not applying.
Yeah.
But at my job, because I came from Tennessee, but we're here in Arizona, so of course we have a lot of Hispanics, beautiful, beautiful people.
Hey, sexies.
Yes. So I work with a lot of Hispanics, and I was speaking to one woman. She works at my job, and she was talking about the amount of money you have to move over here.
How much?
I can't remember, but I know it was thousands and thousands of dollars. She said, you can't come here without money. You have to have money. You have to be able to buy property. You have to be able to pay passports and do all this stuff. And she's like, it is not cheap. She said she had to have I think it was like $15,000 to $20,000 just to get over here. That was years ago. Legally. Mm-hmm. That was years ago.
So imagine what it is now.
But imagine, though, these people don't have that money. How much time it took for her to save up that money to get here. And these people who's trying to leave this country and come here, I can see why they're trying to get here illegally. Who has the money? I don't.
I surely don't, bitch. You come to me talk about give me some $15,000, bitch. You may as well kill me.
Yeah. I was just like, girl, you had that much money to make it here? And this was like, she moved, I think she said she moved here 20 years ago.
That's crazy.
So.
But again, back to, I think that's why Trump is fighting for it so hard, because it's his biggest campaign promise that he used to rile up all his racist followers and supporters, and he's not been able to do it because it always was Mexico's going to is going to pay to build this wall. Then when Mexico's president came and said, "Bitch, no, we not," he changed that tune up. It's not,
because to me, you made that promise, and I'm sure he hadn't had one conversation with that man.
He did it. He thought that he was going to be able to talk shit to him and think it was going to happen. Like, Mexico didn't have no backbone or something. No. Like, people in Mexico just followed over whenever a white man say something.
No.
And that's not how it is. I think what he got it fucked up with is because he has all those Mexicans that work for him, cleaning up his hotels and whatnot. He thought, I can just control them the same way I control the people that work for me. That's not how it works out. And after Mexico's president or whatever they called them there, said that they're not going to do it, he then said, we're going to build it and pay for it, but they'll pay us back. And then he came back and said again, no, we not. He has to put an official statement saying, don't let that man lie to you. Mexico ain't giving you shit.
So let me read you this novel about all these lies that he is telling.
Because why would you? So you want to build a wall to keep me out of your place. Why would I pay for that?
But at what point does that benefit Mexico? Mexico's like, you know what? We're going to end on this. This is telling all the truth. I am feeling this story that you are selling me. No, they wouldn't care. If they want to stay in Mexico, they'll just stay in Mexico, bitch. They don't need a wall. Ain't nobody trying to build a wall between Canada and United States.
Yeah. And people kept on talking about it as well, like this wall is pointless, not only because the wall is not logical, because a lot of the areas where that wall would have to be built across are plots of land that are owned by farmers and stuff like that, and so you're cutting off their own land. And then there are mountains along that way, so you can't really build walls on top of that. And not only that, people are saying that the terrorists that he really is trying to come for and that he's trying to make Mexicans out to be are flying here. They're not crossing from Mexico's border. They are flying over here. So what you gonna do, bitch? You gonna build a whole barrier around us?
There's nothing that he can't do. At the end of the day, you can
shut this government down
as
much as you want to.
Terrorism from happening. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. There's no wall.
Especially when most of our terrorism comes from domestic terrorism. But let's not talk about that either.
Yeah. There's like just too much. And, especially with a good chunk of terrorism happens, in the aircrafts, like you said. Mm-hmm. People are going to really come for us. They're going to drop a good old bomb. And ain't no wall going to help nobody. So, but the
biggest... blow the wall down, too.
But the biggest thing that's, like, heartbroken about this whole government shutdown is the government workers not getting paid for over a month and being basically almost thrown out on the street and not being able to eat and, and having to put up GoFundMe accounts for people to help them out.
Sad. It is really sad. I mean, if you can do that and somebody can help you out, go for it, especially at times like that. Mm-hmm. But it's sad to me that I tried to have a conversation about this with somebody before. I think it was on Twitter. The person was like commenting on how he used to be a federal worker or a government worker, and they tell you beforehand that you need to have, like, because there is a situation that a government shutdown can arise, you need to have money saved up for those times. That's what he claims. I don't know. I never looked it up. I never worked for no government job, and after this fiasco, I never will. But he said that you would have to, that they tell you to save up money, and I'm like, okay, but based off of how much they get paid, which is, I get paid $16 an hour. They get paid essentially the same amount as me. Mm-hmm. And, bitch, the way life is set up, sometimes there are things that you owe, bills don't really work out in your favor, shit that you want to do, so you can say all day long, okay, let me save this money up. But then when the time comes or something, and life happens, and you have to then come from that savings, shit don't really work out that way.
If
you would live in paycheck to paycheck, because that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they are living paycheck to paycheck.
When you're working,
you saw the standard salary was like $30,000 a year, which is an average American salary. Yeah. These people, the thing you have to do to become a government worker, there is no reason for them to be making that much money. Yeah. But my thing is, if they need to have like savings, you can't really tell somebody, oh, well, you need to save in case this happens. They didn't choose the government shutdown. Yeah. To me, if y'all are going to do that, the government should have a backup fund for these people when this happens. I mean, you can't... I'll be highly upset if I go to my job and it's like, well, you need to put some savings up just in case we decide to close down.
Let me go home.
I didn't find another job because it's not like, to me, you making some deals and plans that I don't know about.
But it was irritating about that because he kept on going off of that. I'm like, okay, well, even if that is true, that you have to save up money, and like I said, sometimes shit happens and you really can't save up the way that you plan to or want to. Nobody that is working paycheck to paycheck or is living middle America, like salaries, is going to be good on going over a month with no paycheck. That's at least 2 paychecks that you've missed. Yes. Like if you're getting a every other week or bi-weekly pay period, you've missed 2 checks so far. You can't pay rent. You can't pay most of your bills. And if you can pay some of your bills, you have to most likely skip out on them because it costs to drive to work, because they can't just quit and not come. Because if they don't use sick time or something like that, they can get fired or get arrested, and then they lose out on the money that they would have gotten when the government does reopen. They have to do all of that bullshit. And it's just, to me, I don't understand why the government shutdown has to affect them. Like, if I'm required to come back to work or keep coming to work and not get paid, why does the money affect me? It should affect those people that are making these decisions. The motherfuckers in Congress and whatnot who have to go into these meetings and whatnot, keep coming back out like, oh, we still ain't made a deal, so government still shut down. It's like, okay, well, how about you not get paid?
But the thing about that,
you come up with a decision.
The thing is about that, though, is the people in power, shit don't ever affect them. That's why they can make those decisions. Mm-hmm. When that's like at any job. When your check get fucked up and whatever, they fine because they check is fine. But, when you're looking at that, to me, they need to write a law that says that their money gets fucked up too. Let's see how often the government stays shut down.
It's going to shut down for an hour. And
it ain't going to shut down. They ain't going to miss a penny of their money. Talking about it's okay, you get paid back. No.
Just like healthcare. A lot of these people in government don't pay for healthcare. They don't have to. They get like specialized doctors and people on retainer for them that do shit for free if they have to pay anything at all. And so when it comes to them discussing healthcare for the rest of us, they don't really have their hands in the pocket, or they don't really know from personal experience what it's like, because it's not for them. They don't have to deal with that. So they're like, oh, the healthcare system is fine. That's what you're complaining about. But then otherwise, we looking over here like, no, it's not. It's not fine.
That's why we need people in the government who have lived a regular life. Most of the people in the government
not even just lived a regular life. They can pay for it. So why are they getting it for free?
But I feel like whether or not they get it for free or not, I feel like we need people who started out like us that knows what our struggles are. If you've been rich all your life, you don't know the struggle of the regular common man. Most of America is not rich.
Yeah.
Most America are like middle income, and less.
Yeah.
It's a select few that gets to sit up and just let their money work for them and they don't have to go to work. And don't have to pay income taxes. All their money is capital gain. It's that type of stuff, and it's kind of messed up, in that regard, because, we don't have people that really understand. And of course there are some people there, but we need more. We need people who understand the common man's problems. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to understand, I can't afford healthcare when you can afford it. You're not going to understand, taxes and whenever, taxes ain't nothing to you.
Actually, well, you're not paying them.
So you ain't even paying them. So what the fuck does it matter? So that's what it is. So, like, when, people are upset that they weren't getting their income taxes during the, shutdown, of course, rich people don't understand that.
Even talking about that, I was so irritated because I told you about this already, but we're going to discuss it again on the podcast.
Yeah.
I was at work the other day, during the government shutdown. My manager had came up and told us, okay, well, we're going to be sending out W-2s soon, or you can print them out. If you send me the link or whatever, or your email, I can print it out for you while you're at work. And I'm like, oh, well, let me go ahead and inform people that because the government is shut down, your shit's going to be delayed. And so I'm like, don't be making plans. Because, a lot of people, especially when you live paycheck to paycheck, they make plans off of the income tax.
Especially back home, and I don't know if they do that here, but I would be at work, and, I know people that file their income taxes January 1st, and they have their income taxes. Some places you go and they give you that money right then.
Yeah.
And so they go and they get that money, and the next day they got a brand new car.
Yeah.
And then 3 months later that car get repoed because they couldn't afford that car.
But yeah, people do shit like that. They will make plans and living arrangements on that money, especially let them say, oh, you'll get this within 21 days. People will plan at 21 days that they're going to do this. They're going to have this money come out for that thing, no matter if something going to happen or not. And so I'm like, let me go ahead and tell people. So I put in the chat, all right, remember that your money's going to be delayed because the government is shut down, blah, 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 blah. And all I said was it's going to be delayed. And then some bitch hopped up and said, oh, no, the government, the taxes won't be affected by this because, the taxes won't be affected by the government shutdown. So I messaged back, since when will a government entity not be affected by a government shutdown? Explain that to me.
The thing is, it was all over the news, bitch. Had you not watched the news?
And so they sent me, as I asked that question, somebody else tagged in on that same girl who commented that. And she said, no, because the girl said, oh, I don't know, I just saw that on Google. And I was like, okay, well, let me inform you again that it will be affected. And so then this girl tried to piggyback on that other girl's comment and sent like this post from Google that said the IRS is not going to be closed down because they're retaining like 50-something% of their workers. but it still be like slowed down. Or it didn't say it still be slowed down. I said that after that. Because after she sent that, they'll retain like however many number. They said like an actual thousands or however many number, and then they put 50% of their workforce. And I was like, okay, so if you think they slow already at 100% capacity, bitch, would you not believe it to be delayed at 50? Like, so you posting this is just a roundabout way for you to send a clap back for something that didn't need to be clapped back at. No. I gave a statement that was factual.
Yeah.
You then rebutted that statement. I corrected you with a question, and then you sent me a statement that you thought was going to prove me wrong, which then just a roundabout way proved me right.
Yeah.
Had y'all shut up and just said, okay.
I think that was more about her being in denial. I think it was so much like, okay, no, I'm going to get my taxes on time. I think that was the biggest thing. I think a lot of people, they kind of live in this world where, okay, well, if I ignore the truth, all these fantasies in my mind going to happen.
Well, that's because they got Trump in the White House who is ignoring the truth every damn day. He's always up in there ignoring the truth. Like, he just put out something the other day where he was like, oh, I just had a meeting with my intelligence agencies, and they were saying, because apparently they said something about him being incorrect. And he was like, that their comment was wildly misrepresented.
Misquoted or something.
Yeah, and then it was like, everything, all this is fine, blah, 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 blah. And it was just like, sir, sit this down. Like, Trump is going to find any way to twist the truth and not have any backup to, like, prove if he's telling the truth or not, which we already know he's lying. But then which kills me, his fucking supporters will live on with that. You will show them video evidence of something, and they'll still be like, that's fake news.
Well,
and so for those people, it's just like, there's no talking to them.
There's a huge chunk of America that lives in a fantasy. There's a huge chunk of America that just turn a blind eye to everything.
Yeah.
They're very, very okay with saying, oh, there's nothing wrong. Oh, there's nothing like, we're not like in trillions of dollars of debt. Oh, we're not that. They're very much like, okay, as long as my little world is okay and fine, everything's good. And so instead of just looking at the bigger picture or just, to me, at the end of the day, because I have conversations, everybody's, I'm woke, I know this, I know that, I know that, there's shit that the government isn't telling us that we really should know, and blah, 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 which of course, duh.
Yeah.
But my thing is, it's like, okay, yes, be informed. Yes, to me, live an authentic truth. But at the same time, of course, there ain't shit that we can really do about it at the end of the day, because if the government at some time decides to just blow up the White House and the Parliament, not the Parliament, but the Pentagon and all of that stuff, and we just sit up and we just kind of implode from the inside, ain't nothing we can do but like, well, shit. I guess this is life now. Good old neo-apocalyptic. It's really nothing we can do because, other than, hey, we can go full on, what is it? What is the French Revolution? When they beheaded Marie Antoinette because she told them bitches to eat cake. No.
I've been seeing that comment so much more lately. People keep on, like, equating things back to or relating things back to that, let them eat cake. And I'm just like, what? I don't know what has happened, but it's something happening in the government.
I've heard that there are some people that say that quote never happened.
I've heard that before too.
But I don't know whether or not, they did get beheaded. We know that. For what reason, we're not sure. I know that there was like issues like that she was living a very like high profile life and, extravagant, and then the country was like, or the city or whatever was like poor. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, okay, bitch, you living extravagantly, we ain't got no money.
Where's all this money going, bitch?
So I think that's the biggest thing. I guess people like, we need to stand up and be like that. And I guess bum rush the White House.
Bum rush that bitch.
But, the thing is, they have military. I feel like if
you
they...
bum rush that, you want to. Let's see what the fuck going to happen.
So I don't know how well that worked out. But
especially not now.
Yeah, they'll be dropping bombs on us. Shit, we already know that it ain't nothing for Trump to drop a bomb. So let's not give him any reason.
I can't wait for that to get up out of here. I really cannot. The thing is, though, he did that government shutdown for the wall because he wanted them to fund him. I think it was $6 billion or $5 billion up front, which the wall's going to cost much more than that. But he wanted them to foot that much money for the wall. But they kept saying no. him having the government shut down for that amount of time costed the amount that he wanted them to give him. So it was really a redundant move for him to do.
So we're still out of that money, no matter what. And the thing is,
because now they got to pay all these people back. Hopefully they get that back really quickly, and it's not something they're like, oh, we're going to get this back to you in these increments. No, bitch. Give me my money that I was owed.
I feel like they're not going to be in any rush. Mm-hmm. I honestly feel like that.
Because it ain't their money.
Yeah, and it's just like any other job. You know, when they fuck up your check, and instead of rushing a new check, they go ahead and they be like, oh, well, it'll be on your next check in 2 weeks. I'm like, no, I need that money this check. So I feel like the government will be no different. It's kind of like that. And when you're looking at that and how you are witnessing this, you know, I did read an article where they were talking about how this government shutdown is going to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths as far as, you know, not wanting to work for the government in the future. Like, people are going to be very hesitant to apply for any jobs in the government.
Yeah, because why would you, after seeing that this is what can happen, because I'm sure nobody was, or most people were not privy to the information that if you work for the government and the government shuts down, that you wouldn't get paid. Like, of course, I know it was a government job, but I never equated it to that. I never was like, oh, well, yeah, if the government shuts down, you ain't getting no checks. I didn't think it was like that until this happened. And really, no government shutdown has lasted this long. Now, some people can go a paycheck without getting that money, but especially if you're going to be getting it back. But expect somebody to be able to go a whole month. When you got food to eat, you got families to provide for, you got to drive to and from work, shit don't work out like that.
No.
So I think now people knowing that and seeing that this is a real thing that can happen, if we have anybody else, child, please, I hope not, but if we have anybody else that comes in like Trump and then decides that I'm going to get my way by shutting the government down till who the fuck knows when, nobody's going to work for that. Nobody's going to want to show up for a job where at any point in time, if the president decides that he's not getting his way, he's going to shut the fucking government down. Now I can't get paid. And then I don't have the ability to, for myself, say that this is no longer a job that I want to work for if I'm not going to be able to get paid. And you risk going to jail. You risk getting your pension taken from you. Like, if you've been working there for a long time, that's some shit that you don't take lightly.
Yeah.
You risk that. You risk, like, all kind of, like, the back pay that they're supposed to give you when the government reopens, you don't get that back either if you get quit or fire. So people using their sick time, which is also an issue because a lot of people will say that too. Like, oh, just use your sick time. But it's like, okay.
For a whole month, though?
But even if it was just a week, what if I needed that sick time later on in the year? Bitch, this is January and February. Like, we're just now getting through
and
this.
I feel like they should get their sick time back.
Yeah, I mean,
it was not their decision to do the government shutdown. I feel
some of them wasn't even that they just didn't want to go to work. Some people really could not.
They could not afford it.
Like, if you didn't have gas costs money, bitch. If you don't have a car, public transportation costs money, bitch. So, like, if you can't come to work and you don't have the money to come to work, and that's the issue, you would have to use your sick time. And I'm sure most of them are like, okay, we'll just use a couple days because this will be over with soon. They didn't expect for it to go for over a month. Yeah. And so now all these people that most likely don't, if they had to use that, they no longer have the ability to, or they no longer have sick time. So now some shit happens at the rest of the 11 months that are remaining in the damn year. They're fucked over.
The thing is, you look at it, it's just January. Well, now it's February.
Yeah, it's February 1st.
At that time, it was January, and it's like, wow. Like, we still got a whole year to figure out some shit. And the only thing is, I know these people are, like, shaking in their boots because this is supposed to be a temporary
just 3 weeks.
And it's going to go right back to being shut down. So it's like...
Unless he gets his way again. Or I know he's probably going to use his state of emergency, which isn't going to go well for him either because all that's going to happen is he's going to go to whatever court or place he needs to go to. And they're just going to rebuttal that shit and go through all these bills he has to try to pass and all this. He's going to have so many roadblocks getting this wall built. I think he just needs to let it go. He needs to just admit defeat. The thing is, Trump has too much pride.
He's not going to do that.
But he needs to admit defeat and just say, listen, I tried it. It did not pan out the way I thought it would.
How about you just put like a little, like, instead of a big wall, just put up a little barbed wire fence.
The thing is, like the prisons guy, like
this little barbed wire fence. You know, at least you say you put something up.
Yeah. The thing is, because a lot of what irritates me though is when you're talking with somebody and you're kind of debating it and you're saying, that you're not for the wall, people like to say that, oh, if you're not for the wall, you're not for border security. Nobody's saying that we don't need security at the border for the criminals that are trying to cross over. But
there's already border security.
There's already border security. Now, if you want to pump that up more, if you want to get more resources to that, fine. But for you to want to take so much money from taxpayers that you at first said was not going to happen. You want to take so much money from taxpayers to build this wall that nobody needed or wanted until you got into office.
Nobody was discussing ever said anything about a wall.
No Democrat, no Republican, no matter what it was. Nobody was discussing this wall. Then you showed up and was like, bitch, we need a wall and Mexico going to pay for it. And then you got really fucked up when the president of Mexico came back and said, no, we are not. And so now you're trying to scramble and do anything you can and twist this up to make it look better for you as much as you want to and call everybody fake news and nobody wants border security, that this is like a national emergency. It is not. It has never been a national emergency from Mexico coming over here.
At what point has it been a national emergency?
It hasn't been, but because his fucking supporters are all racist, just like he is, they want to believe it is. Like, oh yeah, all along, my whole family been raped by Mexicans. Every day I wake up, my family is getting raped.
A Mexican's dick in my ass every day. I don't know what to do. I can't keep this pussy clean. I don't know. It's like there are Mexicans moving into my vagina. Let me say that,
No, of course there are criminals in every race, religion, creed, whatever.
Put it on the Hispanics. Hispanics are not wreaking havoc on America.
They are not.
I don't want to say, because I know earlier in this episode we were talking about, how the white man murderers and whatever. There are murderers, there are black murderers, whatever. There are all types of murderers and all types of races and whatever. So there's nothing new. Typically, in my opinion, black people tend to only kill the people that wrong them. White people, on the hand, will kill everybody on the way.
Just like we just had, not this month, it's February now, but in January, we just had, I think it was at least three that I saw, mass shootings, all performed by white men. Leave it at that.
Yeah.
But mass shootings. One was at a mall because this grown man was upset with somebody. Then this other dude, I think he was upset because a girl turned him down, and he shut them up. Now, y'all can fact check this. What I'm saying, the reason may be wrong, but it happened. Yeah. So you can go in back and forth all you want to, but lo and behold, didn't no black person cause no mass shooting. Didn't no Mexican cause no mass shooting. Didn't no Indian cause no mass shooting.
They always want to throw it on the minorities because it's, for one thing, the biggest population, as far as race, is white. Mm-hmm. So it's really good to go ahead and rally up them racist white people and be like, all these colored niggers, these wetbacks and these
all this shit.
These what do my mama call them?
Oh God!
these Chinamen. They're coming in here and they're wreaking havoc. And I don't want to say. And there's so much more that we can do with taxpayer dollars instead of worried about a wall. There's education reform. There's trying to get more jobs here for the homeless people and trying to help. There's so many issues here in America that we need to work on, and it's so stupid to focus so much on something that doesn't even really have a huge impact.
It was never an issue.
Never.
You're about to build a $20+ million wall for an emergency that you have made up.
I feel like
that you have fabricated.
Has caused more issues for the simple fact that there were people who were U.S. citizens
that have been snatched back.
Who went home for vacation and couldn't come back for months. Mm-hmm. People whose kids were thrown into, fucking cages and internment camps. How is that making things better?
Which, on that note, this is going to sound horrible. On that note, that day that Melania Trump went to go visit those kids, and she had on that jacket that said, "I don't care, do you?" or "I really don't care, do you?" Bitch, yes.
Oh my God.
So I saw that jacket first. I didn't see the context of what she was wearing it to. I was like, oh, that is a cute ass. I still think it's a cute ass jacket. Inappropriate place.
Yeah.
But really cute.
I don't care about these Hispanic kids. Bitch, y'all don't need to either.
But let me see. You didn't see that jacket?
No, I've never seen that.
Bitch, let me see. I'm about to pull it up really quickly. But when I saw that that's what she wore it to, and people were trying to defend that, my thing went back to Michelle Obama wore a sleeveless dress once. And people came for her so hard, asking why she's showing them arms and all this other shit, going so negatively on a sleeveless
I
dress.
showed my motherfucking arms too. That bitch be in the gym.
Right.
My arms would be all out. Girl, you see these guns?
But those same people were trying to defend her, Melania Trump, going to an internment camp full of kids in cages, wearing a jacket that said, "I really don't care, do you?" There is no way that you can defend that to me. You cannot tell me that Melania Trump didn't wake up.
That had to be a conscious choice.
It was. It had to be. When you're going through your closet, and because people don't just go to the closet and pick the first thing that they see and walk out. You pick everything, and you have no matter what the
and also like
what you're doing, what the motive of that outfit is.
And a person who loves fashion,
the way I'm assuming she does,
the way she dresses, and me and you, we love fashion. If we know. You try on several outfits.
Yeah.
So that bitch went through a couple and was like, you know what? This is the one.
My thing is, like, so you can't tell me that she didn't pick that jacket out, saw what it said before she put it on, and was like, you know what? This is a great thing to wear.
Just all of a sudden, she didn't know how to, she didn't know how to read English.
This is the jacket right here. Oh, this jacket is $53. Bitch, I may buy this. But, well, I'm sure the one she got ain't $53, but on Amazon it is. If I can pull it up. Why is it not showing the picture? Bitch,
God,
I'm so sick of this. Yeah, I really don't care.
That is a cute jacket. But yeah, that was not the place for that.
It was not. And the thing is, even if you wore that and you realize after you walked out the house, like, bitch. Maybe not the message.
I never saw the back of it. Just like, I never saw
I forgot how she tried to.
Back there.
I forgot how she tried to defend it. Or if she even tried it herself. Because I know sometimes Melania Trump just don't really care to speak. But
so she doesn't need to. It never works out in her favor.
Yeah, but I feel like if she could have been like, listen, this jacket ain't gonna go too well, so I need security detail on my back, and I'll tell you, bitch, need to cause a barrier behind me so that cameras don't capture this, because if they capture, it's gonna be a shit storm. So you can't tell me that bitch didn't know what she was doing. She wore that because she wanted to show you. She wanted to tell you that she didn't care about these kids, these little Mexican kids, because that ain't her problem.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, while everybody's talking about immigration reform and whatnot, send that bitch back where she came from. Send her parents back to where they came from, because they came over here on visas, too, before they got married to Trump. So,
yeah, right.
Everybody want to talk all this shit about Mexicans and whatnot until you look back at them and who they're married to. There are a lot of people in this country that have married somebody that has moved here from another country. And just like that, when Trump first got elected president and he enforced that whole, like sending people back the immigration ban or whatever, and that one woman that they focused on, whose husband got snatched back to Mexico, and she over here like, oh, I voted for Trump, and I thought he was just going to get rid of the bad Mexicans. Bitch, every Mexican in Trump is bad Mexican.
The bad Mexican. I don't see how you can be a Mexican and say bad Mexican.
Well, she was white, from my understanding. Her husband was Mexican.
Her husband was... Yeah. But to me, I would divorce her. After she said that, I'm like, bitch, what you think about me? It's just like you dating a white person and they racist as fuck. I mean, we're black as fuck. Mm-hmm. So if you dating a white person and you always hearing them talk shit about black people, and
then they'd be like, oh, but not you.
But not you. You are the one exception. I would not.
And usually you're only the one exception because they like you. That is it. They don't want to get to know any other black people, and they probably have met you and gotten to know you through happenstance. Like really didn't try to, but because of that, you're fine. They don't want to get to know any other niggas. They don't want to talk to any other niggas. They don't want to get to know any other niggas.
No, see, that will bother me. I think, and this is more than likely if this is the type of relationship that this person is in. Like if you're a black person, you with this white person, more like that white person got money, and you with them, and they basically your sugar daddy. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, I would not. I don't know. That he would have to give me some good money for me to put up with that, because I would just all of a sudden every time I would wake up in the morning and look at him and
just
be
want to
like,
throat check him.
Yeah.
I've ended friendships over that. Like I had a friend before you moved out here. There was a guy named Keith that I told you about Keith.
You told me about Keith.
Keith used to come around quite a bit, and he would typically, like, he would talk shit about a lot of gay people and stuff. And it used to be funny sometimes, but then it just got to a point where I was just like, this is very uncomfortable. Because if you feel this way about every other gay person you see, bitch, what you think about me? Like, you always love to talk about how I'm cool and whatnot because I'm not trying to flirt with no straight man. I'm not trying to, like, usually straight dudes are cool with me because I play video games. There's usually the bulk of my friends. I watch or read comics. I'm into all that nerdy shit, so they'd be fine with it. if they weren't fine with that, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not looking for friends. Just let me put that out there.
No friends. 2019.
But it got to a point where that was just becoming a burden to me. And it was just like, every time you see a gay person, you have something to say about them negatively. It's just like, it just makes me think, what are you thinking about me when I'm not around? Like, you may say, like, I'm cool in this and whatnot, but when you get around somebody else, are you talking shit?
about man shit.
Yeah, so
and I don't
I'm
like
you
that.
know what?
I don't like,
I'm done.
I don't like the possibility. I don't like the possibility of someone I know or someone I talk to, and if I feel like this happened, I definitely want to stop talking to you. Because if I'm friends with you, I'm friends with you, and I don't talk shit about you behind your back. I'll talk shit about you in your face, but if I'm talking shit about you, it's more to, help you out. Or just to be funny, whichever one. But as far as that, I can't fathom the idea of somebody I care about talking shit about me behind my back. So if I feel that inkling, and we're Scorpios, it's like if
we do
don't
research.
Trust you, we do research. We get receipts. We may not ever even tell you about the.
You might never know that. Bitch, we are compounding a document over here.
Right.
We are filing taxes. We are putting shit together.
We got a whole manila folder on you, bitch.
Yeah, and you don't know about it, but we know about it.
And we may never tell you.
Yeah, but you will sit here and wonder, why this bitch ain't talking to me? I'm sure Keith is wondering why I have never spoken to him.
And never said anything. And
I don't feel that I need to justify why I'm not talking to you anymore. If I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to talk to you.
If I just one day stop talking about you and you realize it, you probably gonna think, okay, so what the fuck did I do? And but the thing is, I'm never gonna tell you. I'm never gonna call you up. I'm never gonna text you. I'm not gonna send you a long email telling you why I stopped talking to you, because I don't have to.
If you come at me hot,
then I'm gonna pull out all the receipts.
Let me go through this file real quick. Let's get these K's. Go get on Keith.
But before we go, I did want to say, because you were talking about that, and I have somebody that was talking to me, and they claimed to be bisexual. What was one of those people that was like, "Oh, I don't like nobody in my business." Those type of people. Yeah. And I'm just like, that's your life. I don't care, And so, but he was like, oh, I dated a tranny in the past, and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't care, and I wasn't ashamed of it. But
people say that shit to me a lot.
I just be like, okay. But I don't know. But the thing is, it was weird to me, because and then all of a sudden one day he came to me and was like, okay, I don't think I want to mess with dudes anymore. Because we were just friends, and wasn't like we were doing anything. So I was like, sure, whatever, I don't care. And then it was like one day he was like, I got an important question I got to ask you. And he sent me a photo of a girl that he was, I guess, he's on Tinder or something trying to find a girlfriend. And he was asking me whether or not the girl was a dude. And I was like, shit, I don't know. Like I was supposed to just check for Adam's apples? I don't care if she's a dude or not. And I was like, you in the past that you dated a tranny said you didn't care. He's like, oh, but I don't do that anymore. I grew from that. And it was something about that just fucked me up, because for you to say that, for you to supposed to be my friend, and I'm gay, and you're supposed to be my friend, and you saying, oh, I was once into this and I grew from it, and to me, I guess he didn't understand why it was offensive. But to me, when you say you grow for something, to me that was something bad. It's different to say, well, you know what, I tried it wasn't a lifestyle for me. That's a different thing. But when you're saying I grew from that, like, oh, that was the past and I can't to me, it's just like, it's like it was something that you needed to leave behind. Like, you needed to leave behind because you felt that your life is going to be better without it. It's different than you saying, oh, I tried it, it was cool, it went for me. But, and that really bothered me. It pissed me the fuck off, because I was just like, so what do you think about me? Are you saying that I need to grow from it? Yeah. That's good. If you think that way, we don't need to be friends. We surely don't. I'm not ashamed of who I am. Clearly, I feel like you're a bi person who is truly bi, who's probably more gay than bi. And because I would have these things where he was like, oh, I feel like people be looking at me when I walk in a room, and I'm just trying to figure out, if people know I'm gay, if they thinking I'm gay, people are treating me different, blah, 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 blah. I was like, first of all, ain't nobody paying you no attention. No attention. You ain't that 9 cute. Times out of 10, whenever you are self-conscious about something, you feel like everybody knows something about you that you don't want to know. You're just scared they're going to find out. Yeah, that's it. But I'm just
and
like,
if you came out the closet, bitch,
right?
you wouldn't be worried about that.
Calm the fuck down. But the thing is, he has no problem talking to gay people in public around people. He talks to me. There's other gay people at work, and that he talks to, and he comes to you, and he wants to go out, and he wants to do all that type of stuff. But at the same time, it's like that's just such an odd way to be. Yeah. I was telling him, I hope that you are able to one day live your authentic self, whether it's straight, gay, bi, whatever. But whatever it is, stop worrying about, who sees what, who's thinking what, and who's talking about what. Because let me tell you, your life is going to be fucking stressful.
Yeah, really.
But we're going to go ahead and sum up this good old episode of PopTawk.
Hopefully you guys all enjoyed this. We're going to try to do this a bit more now, especially because it's much easier to do. We can just come out into the living room. Our bedrooms are on opposite ends of the apartment.
Which I do love. So, it's almost like being neighbors.
It really is. So just meet up in the living room, set up this little camera, or not camera, set up this computer and microphone and just talk.
Definitely not right now. I don't want no camera on me.
I always look at certain people's podcasts that do like special episodes where they'll film it as well, and so I just don't. That would have to be specifically for special events because I'm not about to be getting dolled up every day. I enjoy my ugly days.
And we used to love, like we started this as videos, and the reason I do podcasts because when I'm off and I'm not doing anything, I don't want to be dolled up in the house. And I know there are people who, like, when you're a person that likes fashion and whatever, they assume that you look like that all the time.
Nah, bitch, not true. No. And the thing is, back then we didn't have no jobs. Or did we? If we did, it wasn't strenuous like we are now. And
but we were still living at home.
And our makeup routines were not what they are now. We have some involved makeup routines.
And like, I feel like our fashion
and hair and everything. It would take too much time, bitch. I ain't got the time for it.
Everything has evolved. And I feel like I've always had a very particular image of myself that I like to put out. I feel like it's gotten, as far as, especially if I'm going to put out a video or put out a photo, the way I want myself to be perceived, I have a very clear-cut, idea of what that is, and that's not particularly what I look like
right now.
So,
but if we gain enough following behind this, maybe we'll do like little special episodes for like milestones, and we'll film it. But as of right now, enjoy the soothing sounds of our voices.
Yeah, it's a little bit of AMR specialty.
ASMR.
What I say?
AMR.
S&M.
Anyway, before this gets derailed any further, have a great rest of your day, and you'll catch us all next time whenever we decide. Bye.
Bye. Be filthy gorgeous.